Welcome back to the CFG GameCast episode 84, where geeks and nerds and streamers alike get together and we discuss a topic of the week of our choice. You can also watch us on our website, consfreaksandgeeks.com, and every Monday, this gets pushed out to podcast services of your choosing. And give us a like, a thumbs up, a follow, a heart, a comment, what have you, and show us some love because we would greatly appreciate it. Today, obviously, I'm doing the intro, so you know that means Davis isn't here, so the kids shall play. I've got with me two beautiful human beings. Smitty, what have you been up to, buddy? How have you been?
Chilling. Good. Again, I love that. Fantastic job filling in for it's hard to get that Davis intro, but you did fantastic.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. I actually just finished Spider-Man, or the main base story, so I'm glad. That was a fantastic game, by the way. I'm excited to go through. I think I am going to try to platinum that. I feel like that's achievable. Plus, I have the DLC and then Morales. Before Morales, yeah. Okay. Like, I'm looking to do it step by step, because I also have the DLCs as well. So I'll run through all that stuff too. I just don't want to completely overwhelm myself. I am going to take a minute. Huh?
I was like, wait, there's DLCs besides Miles Morales? Oh, I need to.
Yeah, no, there's there's like 3 DLCs for.
Dang it! Oh no! Oh, I thought I could just, and then I'd be done. Dang it!
Well, no.
Dust's gonna have to help me now. But you liked it. But you liked it. Yeah.
No, I loved it. I think it was a great story and everything. The character, Mr. Negative, you know what I mean? That was a fun character. I got to talk with him. He was on LAN parties. Stephen O. Young, the actor, which my topic later on about Gotham Knights. He's playing Red Hood in Gotham Knights. But yeah. So yeah, it was that was awesome. And then I finally did it. I'm a man of my word, and we started playing Metal Gear Solid 5 on stream. Again, we all know how it crushed my soul after 5 years, realizing that I had only finished the first chapter. So, I had to step away from it. I had to step away from it. I couldn't believe it. I could not. I don't know what I was thinking. But it was, I said, "Oh, it's a chapter 2." I was like, "You have got to be kidding me."
Now I must add. So he thought he beat it. He messaged not just me, but Davis in the middle of the night to say, "Ha ha, I beat it," and then 5 minutes later go, "Oh snap!" He didn't say snap. Bleep, 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 bleep. Never mind. I owe you $100 for Extra Life. And also, apparently you were playing last night and Davis watched and he said you were doing horribly. And I was told to tell you.
I was not being a very sneaky snake.
So, just saying.
Look, it was a very long week. I had a project, work-wise, I had a couple of huge projects, so I've been grinding that out. So I let loose a little bit yesterday for sure, but overall it was good. And I'm excited to get back into that and chill out a little bit this weekend. But I mean, enough about me. We know that Davis is not here. We've got a special guest, Tdot.
Oh, me?
Yes, you.
Yeah.
Okay. How are you, my friend?
I've been doing pretty good.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, dude.
Yeah.
What is there to say about me? I've been working with CFG and Davis since the beginning. We used to be together on the CFG podcast when we used to do a podcast about comics.
Yeah.
Now I do random streams from time to time, playing literally random things. About to start up a new thing for Final Fantasy 14, which I got sucked into accidentally because of pandemic. But that game has been pretty great. As far as games lately, Bravely Default 2 has been taking up pretty much a lot of my time. Just playing all the different classes, like maxing them out and stuff, trying different combinations. Yeah, I really love it's pretty much like Final Fantasy, except you get to have two job classes. And
Oh,
so
okay, okay.
and
Nice.
Oh.
so you have like your main class and the subclass, and then as you go on, you collect more asterisks, as they call them, and you get like more jobs. And it's
Oh.
really cool to like mix and match. It's like, yeah, I want to be a berserker, but then I have black mage on there, so I can cast spells if I need to be. It's really fun.
Berserker.
Nice.
I think Davis is playing Bravely Default 2 as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Me and
peeped
him
it a
have been
little bit. I
going
was like,
back
all
and
right.
forth with combos and stuff. Like this is
Oh.
Godspeed strike that the thief
Mm.
gets. Oh my goodness, damage based off of your speed and just maxing out everything on speed is a good time.
Oh.
Good time.
That sounds like
That is
fun.
what's up. Well, thank you again for
Yeah.
joining us, Tdot. We appreciate it. And
Anytime.
let's, of course, what have you been up to? How are things going on your end?
I pulled through this week. We've been playing Maid of Sker. Okay, I'll take it back. I said it wasn't scary. It's scary. It lulled me into a false sense of security. How dare they? As you guys know, I'm dead on the inside, and horror games is kind of like my release at this point. uh, you know, I want you to scare me. I want you to make me piss my pants. I want to run out of the room. Give it to me. And it's getting there. It's starting to get it, and I'm having some really cool people that I met through the Bless community come in. They're like, "Oh, I played this. Just you wait." And I love that they're not giving anything away. And I'm like, "Just you wait. What are you talking about? What? Oh no, And it's just oh, it's great. The oh no happens several times to me. Thankfully my character is kind of wily, and he can duck and like dive under stuff too, like I can in real life, because I'm 5 feet and I can hide from anybody, dang it. So that's kind of nice. Sorry, Opie made a noise and I got nervous. You okay? She almost choked and died this week, so I'm like panicky every time she eats a treat.
Yeah.
But I am fighting off a cold, which I kind of don't mind because it lessens my headaches. But here in Vegas, we've had the most ridiculous weather. It's either like slush coming down from the skies. It's 70, it's 20, it's windy, it's weird here. I don't know what the heck's happening. I also have a third eye. There we go. Let's put it right there. The cat put a hole in my blackout curtains. You like it? You like it? But yeah. Oh, Jadzia, she finally made it to the top of the curtains in our bedroom last night. Support your animals in all of their endeavors. But yeah, and we got some new bedding. Oh my god! If you're not in my Discord, you're missing out. I got fuzzy bedding, like those I literally have one right here. It's like the viral dog beds that are like fluffy, like long fur. That's what my bed is. And let me tell you, being sick and running a fever, but being in that is just bliss. It's great. And that's what
It
I've been
looks
doing all
super
week.
comfortable.
It's so comfortable.
It looks so comfortable.
Smitty, come over. Just lay in my bed. That sounds
I know. I'm gonna bring over the PlayStation. I'm just gonna hang
Cat
out. I'm like,
can
just having a good old
come.
hangout.
Cat can
And
come,
just,
Lincoln can come,
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
on the TV downstairs. It'll be a blast. But yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
Nothing too crazy. I tried to make it through the week. I had to take last night off because like my fever, I could not get it down. And I was like, I'm gonna play games. And Dust was like, no, you're not. Go lay down. I'm making you a salad. I'm like, oh, salad, okay. So he's been taking care of me, which he's the best human. He's my life partner. Because if he tries to leave, I'm gonna take his life.
Yeah.
So.
Get murdered.
But yeah, all right. I think that's enough about us. Let's get into it. Who's going first today? Who is going first today? Was it me?
No, actually, it is Tdot will be going first.
Okay, I will go first.
Let me throw you under the bus. So, what is your topic today, sir?
Yeah.
Please tell us all about it. We'd love to hear about it.
All right, so first up, we got Sony buys Evo. And for those who don't know who Evo is, it's Evolution Championship Series. It's a tournament, mainly fighting games, that's been happening throughout the years. Um, do you want a 5 second spill on that? You want a history lesson, or we are good?
No,
I
I
would
think give us yeah, I would like a little bit of
All
backstory.
right,
pretend
teacher
like
mode.
nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Evolution used to be called Battle by the Bay in the 90s. Started up by four people, the Cannon brothers, and Mr. Wizard and Seth Killian, and that evolved after the first three, after Battle of the Bay 5,
Mhm.
into what we know now as Evo. It started in the West Coast in California and Santa Monica, and then it moved into Las Vegas, and that's where it's been ever
Mm-hmm.
since. It's like the mecca fighting game tournament for everyone. Uh, Fast forward to 2020, there's a little thing called a pandemic. So we
Mhm.
can't all meet up there in Las Vegas. So what the plan was to have an online tournament. Online tournament was going to have only that it got knocked down to 4 games just because a lot of the fighting games now do not have good net code. Even though we have been
Mm-hmm.
stressing that for years. That's
Mhm.
what's been that's one of the major things that's been holding back fighting games since I don't know how when, and that's
Forever.
why
Right.
MOBAs and shooters and everything else has just been passing it by.
Right.
Right.
Anyways, they got their 4 games, and before it could even pop off during the Me Too push that was going on, one of the owners, Mr. Wizard, is caught up in some stuff, and so they ended up exiting him out and just canceling the whole event.
Right.
And so now we're in 2021. Everybody's looking for like what's going to happen, what's going to happen to Evo, and seems like they have decided to partner up with Sony.
Oh, nice.
And so what this is now is leaving a lot of people with questions. It's like, well, we've had fighting games with all different consoles, Xbox, PlayStation, Switches. We've either done some with handhelds and computers and whatnot. And I'm like, well, now that Sony owns it, what's the deal? And that's what the big talk is right now. Everybody's trying to figure out, is it going to be Sony only? Is Smash Brothers pretty much dead for this? Like, what's
Right.
going on?
See, I think that, and I feel like it'd be kind of foolish of Sony to do that. Like, to me, I guess I didn't take it that way, and I didn't take it or think of it in that sense. Like, to me, this is them basically trying to boost up the fighting game community. I think this is a huge partnership for that. And then again, too, like we were talking about, the net coding for it has been a problem. I remember my brother, because my brother, you know what I mean, was huge for a while in Street
Hmm.
Fighter and stuff like that. And you know what I mean, like just doing online gameplay and stuff like that has been a mess for so many. And it's like it's hard not to work on that stuff and have something solid, especially being in a situation like we are right now. It's like, dude, you should have already had yourself in place to be
Yeah,
able to smoothly transition. That's something that's blowing my mind as far as
exactly.
you know what I mean, like, and it's not just them, because you saw with esports too, where like these people had no plan, like,
Hmm.
for online play or being able to do like online tournaments and stuff like that. I would have thought that they were already doing that stuff. And it seems like it was like they just got caught with their pants on the ground, basically.
Yeah. No, I mean, when you said Evo, I immediately thought of the whole Me Too issue that they were having.
Yep.
And I remember we had a discussion about this prior of, even if someone takes over, is this something that has now been tainted too much for people to want to be a part of? Because I know a lot of female
Hmm.
gamers who are very much into that particular market of gaming. And, again, it's being a girl in the gaming industry is kind of rough. Like, I mean, I would say just in general, you're always going to have your trolls, and you
Yeah.
get over that, but it's also like the microaggression things that people say that slowly eventually get to you, and then we get snappy, and it's, oh well, she's just being a you know what, and it's like, no, like, you guys have to understand, like, I've had this person say this to me today, I've had this person say this to me today, and apparently I don't know what I'm doing with my own computer even though I built it, and it's like, it's so frustrating. And so in my head, I was just curious, okay, who's going to buy this out? Who's going to rebrand it and bring it back? I don't, a part of me goes, why Sony? What is Sony's market here? Now, they have been trying to blend in and work with other companies, because I think they realized that their market of just, okay, well, it's only on our console and it's only on our system, and we're not going to make it cross-platform. And I think they're starting to slowly open that gate. So I'm curious as to what further this will, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, where is this
Yeah.
going? Where are they going
Yeah.
to take this?
And Sony's not like a stranger to the fighting game community.
Oh, absolutely not.
Like that's pretty much the reason why Street Fighter V was only on PS5, even though
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter 4 was on both PS3 and
Right.
Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have their own little fighting circuit with some of their games like Mortal Kombat. Like, and they show it on their streams. And so
Yeah.
like they've always been supportive of fighting games. So them getting involved is not too surprising. And then also up the note, I did see that Nintendo did tweet about this.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, just it was just like a general like linking to it, like saying like they support it, and also heads of gaming companies like Harada for Tekken have also tweeted about it, saying like yeah, like they're supporting it. So for right now, it looks like everything's gonna go business as usual. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what games are going to be in 2021 yet. They haven't made that announcement. I'm assuming they're only going to include the ones with improved netcode.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Street Fighter V and Tekken have both tried to make strides in their netcode, while others like Soul Calibur and Samurai Showdown have not made that effort.
Mm-hmm.
And Smash Brothers falls into that latter category as well. And so it'll be interesting to see like what they choose to do and
Yeah.
what games they go with.
Yeah, and I think Pharmacy makes a strong point here too. Pharmacy in chat says it goes back to the topic of this generation being about services you can offer as a platform holder, be it Game Pass or PS Now. If they can use it to funnel people towards other titles on the platform, don't be surprised. And I think that's a great point to this, because right now I kind of feel like Xbox is beaten up on PlayStation. They are making the right moves. They are, gathering and acquiring these different studios and IPs and stuff like that. Because we know, and as something I've said in the past, that they had, as far as with their community, they just didn't have a lot to offer them gaming wise. I feel like they're making those moves now. So I feel like this is almost, this could be, because there's got to be more of a plan in Sony's pocket, I would think. As far as making a purchase, and what, it will be interesting seeing moving forward. What is that going to look like? What is Sony going to do, and how are they going to try to leverage both Evo and the fighting game community? What are they going to do? Because there's got to be a plan here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is, I think this is like for the fighting game community, for Evo. I think that is it's smart. And like you were saying, to what Lex was saying, it's hard that name is now associated with these with the sexual misconduct that happened with the dude. So now you're talking about a complete rebranding to you know what I mean, distance and say this is not what we are moving forward. I think Sony, they have the resources definitely to be able to essentially get past that as
Right.
as an organization, and I think this is a positive mood, and I really think this helps out and benefits the FGC for sure.
I agree. Yeah, I think, as someone who, unfortunately has been a part of the Me Too movement.
Meaty.
It's when someone doesn't take it seriously, whether well, be it like a person or a company in general, it's very frustrating. And I think Sony, if anyone, can kind of push past that. And I was in the fighting game circuit for quite a while. I played Injustice like there was no tomorrow, but a lot of the games unfortunately have a third round now, and I can't do that. My hands die after that. So yeah, no, I mean, I loved Street Fighter. I loved Injustice, and I loved those games, and I was pretty darn good at them. So, this opens up possibilities, and I think, again, like, you kind of, it's hard to come back from stuff like that, but when a big corporation can pick up something like this and rebrand it, the likelihood of it jumping back is exponentially higher. You know what I mean? And I think that's where, and I know a lot of people were disappointed. I have friends who participated in Evo, and that was very frustrating for them. So, hopefully this is something that can and further bring it back to where it was, at least, or even better than what it was, and give it like a new life, essentially. So
Yeah, and it's good to see that fighting games have been making their way in the right direction, especially with Guilty Gear Strive with its great netcode that I know y'all have talked about a little bit.
you just spoke a different language. I'm sorry, what, sir? Sometimes I nod during the podcast. I'm like, I'll take notes. Look this up later. I and that was one of my notes. Yeah, no, Evo used to happen at the Mandalay Bay every year, and we would go. It was really fun to watch, and I just, it's been around for a long time, and it's one of those things where when I was little, I was like, man, I'm really good at Street Fighter 2 in the arcade. Maybe I can kick somebody's butt. Or, I still have it for the Sega, like the original, and I loved it. And I thought, oh, one day maybe I could be a gamer. And back then, it was like, no, you're going to be a figure skater and you're going to the Olympics. And I was like, I am not. That's not going to happen. You'll have your bar set way too high for me. It's not happening, guys. But yeah, I wish them the best. Like, again, and we talked about it before, like, one person tainting the name sucks. And it's like, you build, and it's not just one person that built this from the ground up. There was a team of people.
Yeah.
So for one person to ruin what everyone's work had been, like, that's gotta suck. Like, you do all of this work, you take all of this time and money and effort, and then bam, someone has to make stupid choices, and you took everything from everybody. Like, good job, buddy.
Yeah.
So I wish them the best. Excuse me. I think
they can make that bounce back.
Yeah,
I think they can make that bounce back.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Good topic. I like that. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to talk about that. Smitty, did you want me to go next, or would you like to go, sir?
I believe it's you, because yours is pretty spicy.
Mine is pretty spicy. Are y'all ready for
Yeah.
this? No, I can't. I can't sing any songs. We'll get in trouble. All right. I had to take notes, okay? So, Deathloop. Are you ready? Woo! Because it's coming out, y'all. It's coming out real soon, May 21st. I hope y'all are ready. It's right after my birthday. Don't forget my birthday. Deathloop. So, it is a multiplayer. Yep, you heard me right. It is a multiplayer. Now, how can Deathloop be a multiplayer without being absolutely obnoxious, you may ask? Well, let me tell you. So, you can play offline, where Juliana, who is your nemesis, essentially trying to stop you from ending the Deathloop, correct? And their motto is you die, die, die again. Well, you're trying to take out 8 targets, I believe, 7 or 8 targets, while Juliana is trying to stop you. So they haven't quite stated whether or not they will let you know if the person that is navigating Juliana is an NPC or an actual human being, but you have the option of playing her and trying to beat Colt. Now, to make it fair, Colt has 3 lives and Juliana only has 1. She cannot mess with you when you are not in a target's range. So let's say, your first target that you're going after, you're finding clues and all that, but you're nowhere near him. Juliana cannot come into your map and mess with you. Okay. Juliana will announce herself when she is coming. So she'll start talking trash to you through your radio, like, I'm going to get you. Kind of like a cat.
Oh.
They want it to be a cat and mouse game, right?
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
want that anticipation of like, uh-oh, here we go. Now, is there going to be a countdown from that point? Who knows? But she will lock you in to a map. Now, there's an antenna you can go and hack. If you hack that antenna, she then knows your location. But there's not 1, but 2 exits off the map. So you could essentially play an entire game and never see Juliana at all, whether she's NPC or being played by a real person, which I thought was pretty cool. You can hack to open the doors. Also, other NPCs or security guards will alert Juliana and put your location on her HUD, which I thought was hysterical. I was like, oh man, of course. But here's the catch. Let's say at the beginning of your match, before, like during breakfast time, because it kind of goes through the times of the day, right? Like, let's say you kill Juliana and she reprises back, which is what they call their lives. You killed her, and if maybe she had already killed you, you kill her and that refills one of your reprises. But I believe that only happens once. So let's say she didn't done gotcha, right? And you're like, dang it. You have 2 more lives left. Okay. Well, you happen to sneak up on her and you shoot her. That refills up one of your lives. So now you have 3 lives again. I don't think that is a forever thing, like, because again, she only has 1 life after the first one. So once you take her out, she will come back, but she comes back later and they will not tell you when, which is interesting. So you could kill her at breakfast, but she doesn't come back till mid-afternoon or dinner time in like the sequence of things. So it's really interesting on how they've got this like going. And then there's just some other things, and they're not quite sure. So that you can't chat with Juliana. So like, let's say Juliana is a real person. You are playing online. You cannot actually chat with the person. At the end of the game, they're deciding whether or not they're gonna make chat available. Like, hey, good game. Because again, they don't want to make it toxic. They don't want the cat and mouse game to turn into something that essentially Overwatch maybe is kind of turned into, with like the trash talking and all of that, right? But again, like, what's really neat is they've given Colt more advantages than Juliana, but Juliana has certain things that she can do as being if you're playing her, that kind of put you at different times. You have the advantage over Colt. They also aren't quite sure if they're going to tell you if she is an NPC or not at the beginning of the game. So some people, it's kind of a vote. So they're curious. Like, they want to know what the audience thinks. Like, do you want to know if it's an NPC coming after you while you are trying to do your missions, because it's multiple? Or do you want to know that it is a real life person coming after you? And again, it's cat and mouse. You may never see this character. She may kill you twice. You never saw her coming. You heard her because she talks trash, which I think is pretty cute. She's just kind of snarky and sassy. And it's just, I was so intrigued by this. I mean, I know Smitty and I talked about this a bunch because we were both excited for Deathloop. Even my dad asked me about it recently. He's like, have you heard of this game called Deathloop? I'm like, of course I have. What do you think I do for a living? But I thought it was pretty neat. And the way she locks you into maps is very interesting. And so it's also then it's like, well, wait, now you're going to have to really learn these map setups and like where you are during certain missions and how to essentially escape her without her seeing you, or vice versa. You know what I mean? And I just thought like all of these really cool things were like super interesting. And there are some things about Juliana that they tease about, but don't say specifically. So I think they're waiting till the game actually comes out to tell us about more of what she can do. Because yes, Colt will have the upper hand, and they want to make that clear that if you are playing as Colt, he does have the upper hand, and here's why X, Y, and Z. But they want to make this a really intriguing game to where, because obviously it's the same thing over and over and over again. How do you make that not annoying, frustrating, irritating, and just
Right.
boring? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So and they've stated that Juliana as an NPC will have completely different like motives and movements, and it will be, every game will essentially be different, which is really cool. I'm so excited. Oh my god.
Do
I
you
want
know
to kill Smitty so bad. Sorry.
Oh.
Oh, you're good. Do you know if like the levels are randomized or are they like static? As in, like each house is gonna be like this. Like if you do another run, the layout will be the same for each of the 8 places. But
So I don't know about that, but I know that, like, let's say, okay, let's say you're in the beginning of your hunt for your first mission and you're getting clues, right? So you're getting clues and you happen to be close to the target, but you're not aware of it yet. Juliana comes onto the playing field, okay? She goes to kill you and you will kill her, and she happens to have gotten the weapon that you may need. You then get her stuff. Does that make
ooh,
sense? But if you
okay,
die, you lose your stuff. Now, I don't know if she gets your items. That has not been clear. But she may know the information you know about your target so that she can set herself up to be where she needs to be to possibly murk you before you murk your target, starting the death
Right.
loop over. Because her
yeah,
whole job is to not lose the death loop, whereas your job is to kill these victims, and then the death loop ends, right,
yeah,
essentially. So they haven't really stated. There may be more articles. I know this one was just specifically about how Juliana is not just an NPC. But you do have the option. If you don't want to play with somebody, you don't have to. There is no chat system. I don't think they're going to implement it because, again, they don't want it to become toxic, where, like, Juliana kills you and she's talking trash to you at the end, just to piss you off, and then you're angry and you don't want to play. I don't know. And I try to stay away from too many articles about games that I'm really intrigued about, because I don't want like an accidental slip of, what's the word I'm looking, like a spoiler, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But they didn't state in this article, but I know Smitty did post the full article. It is very lengthy. I took literal Spark Notes, 2 pages of Spark Notes actually, while I was sitting here, because I read like the first like 3 paragraphs and I was like, oh, there must not be too much more. And then I kept scrolling and I was like, oh my god, this is like 4 pages worth of information. He's very detailed. I also like Brian, the guy who did this article. He's usually the one that I look for as far as like if I'm really interested in games, because he doesn't just write for Game Informer, he writes for a bunch of other companies. They'll buy his articles. Yeah, it's really cool. And oh man, just imagine getting all of your stuff, you're about to kill the target, and Juliana kills you and you lose all of your items. Oh, I would be so pissed. So I'm
Just
Yeah.
just intrigued. So, what were you gonna say?
yeah. From the jump off, this game has piqued my interest.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing to me, especially something that is kind of an indicator, I feel, of a good game is really the mechanics that go into the game and what kind of things, are they going to do that are different and make it stand out and make the experience unique. There are a couple of things I don't know. Like if I am a person in a lobby and I'm playing, it's Juliana,
Juliana,
you
yeah.
said?
Juliana.
Juliana.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you get killed, you only have one life. What happens as the player, you know what I mean? That's playing her then. do they just like have to sit in a lobby, or they go into a new lobby or something?
So,
Or
I mean, you technically have two lives. So you have the life you're given when you pull out into the map, right?
Mhm.
And then let's say he loses track of his cult, the person that you're after. Let's say he loses track of his mission, and so his target has left the map. Then I think you go back into like almost like a green room, is what I assume.
Oh,
Because you can then, or maybe you're able to stalk Colt, but you can't engage with him, kind of scenario.
Mhm.
So if Colt's target is not on in that vicinity, Juliana cannot engage, whether that's NPC or player. But if he kills you, you can come back. I think you get like a countdown though. And so you have to wait a certain amount of time before it brings you back. But if you drop, I would assume they would then just pull an NPC for Juliana to then play Colt. Like if you got mad that you got murked or whatever, and are like, oh, I'll
Mhm.
just get into another lobby. But you do get a life on top of the one that you already have. So you essentially have two lives where Colt has three. Now, if you kill
Okay.
Colt, it did not state, and I think they did this on purpose, if she can refill her reprise like Colt can. So if
Ah.
Colt get mercs, right, and he's now down to two lives, and then he sees Juliana as he's about to finish his mission, shoots her, shoots his mission, bada bing, bada boom. He refills his reprise, which is a life. Um,
Mhm.
but I feel like they purposefully left out if Juliana can do that. So though Colt has extra lives, I'm almost wondering if they're going to be sneaky and make it that Juliana, if she kills her target over and over, can just keep refilling her reprise. Could be.
And does she like work for the company? Or again, I'm like you. I haven't like I've
I'm
stayed
trying to
away
stay
from
away.
information and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah, I just want to like I'd rather go in blind and just experience it
Yeah.
as opposed to like going in with all those expectations and like knowing I don't know, this game is crazy and I've been super pumped to play it. I am so excited that it's coming out next month, and or not next month, a couple months from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Near my
It's
birthday, yeah. I mean, I can
yeah,
read
I'm
you the first
excited.
paragraph real quick. The dynamic between Colt and Juliana is fascinating. One character is trying to break the time loop, which is Colt, while the other is trying to preserve it. Along the way, they get to know each other, laughing at each other's jokes, sharing experiences, and blasting each other with bullets before the loop begins anew the next day. These interactions occur over the course of the narrative, as Colt tries to figure out the best way to assassinate 8 targets in a single day, while Juliana herself tries to ambush him when he least expects it. The unpredictability is ratcheted up thanks to Juliana being controlled by another player who invades your game, excuse me, in hopes of oh my god, in hopes of stopping Colt's progress through the story. It doesn't say who she necessarily works for. I don't
Hmm.
know if that's given away in any of the trailers. I feel like you get a little bit of like the sass between them, but not necessarily like her storyline itself. Now, I don't know if they're keeping that secret. Again, I'm trying not to spoil too much stuff for myself. Like Smitty said, he's also on that same wavelength. I don't know. I can't answer that question. I can
Yeah.
Google it real quick while we discuss further if you'd like.
Yeah, well, no, and that's fine. I'm just trying to understand it a little better because I'm trying to also figure out what type of game. Like, I assume there's going to be a story
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff as well, right?
Oh yeah.
So, and how that like those. This is a very ambitious game. I feel, just in how like I don't know what to expect, I guess, and I
Yeah.
kind of like that. I
Well,
kind of like
and
that.
that's kind of 70s retro-ish, like through the commercials, you know what I mean? And like how their color story is. I would assume that they're both assassins, and I don't know why she doesn't want the time loop to end. Maybe it has to
Mm-hmm.
do something with like a family member and a loss is kind of what my thoughts were. I
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
putting that out as just a guess. I don't know. But Colt is like, I got to do my job because maybe he has a loss if he doesn't do the time. Like, end the time loop. But even if, like, let's say Juliana, again, like, cat and mouse, they never see each other on the map through one game. If you don't kill all 8 targets, you start over, right? So even if no one gets murked, the time loop starts over. If you only got 7 of your 8 targets, you still start over anyways. So I think there's going to be a lot of storyline. Bethesda's pretty cool about, which I keep, like, every time I say this is a Bethesda game, I'm like, really?
I know.
Yeah.
Really? Don't do me dirty, y'all. Please don't do me dirty. Please don't do me dirty. But I'm really excited. And I think maybe, like, they work for 2 different agencies, or maybe they even work for the same agency and one person's gone rogue. You never know. And I think the storyline is what, if I know the storyline, I know I'm not going to end up playing it. So I'm trying to keep myself out of it. I would rather sit here and speculate. You know what I mean? Like I did with WandaVision. let me sit here and marinate, essentially, is how I feel. But I thought it was just so cool. And I'm so excited. I'm excited. Oh, man.
Yeah, this game seems like very fun, especially like this whole like snitch system that they have, where if, like one of the NPCs sees Colt and Juliana sees where he is. I think that's gonna make like playing Juliana, even with like the less lives, like even out in funness,
Exactly. Well, and like, at first I was like, snitches, how dare you? But then as I read, it was like, well, she only gets, essentially 2 lives. And it's like, okay. So, she does need a little bit of like a step up in some areas, but it's like where it starts to even them out, like Colt will still get that advantage because obviously he still has 8 targets to take care of, plus her on his butt the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be a super intense game. Plus, you have security guards. I don't know how many NPCs on top of your 8 targets are going to go after you. You know what I mean? And so you're going to have to really learn as the character how these map layouts are, how to escape when she locks you in, and how to avoid her at all costs. So I think that's what's really, I love the cat and mouse theory of this game and how that seems to work, because they made that clear from the get-go with their first commercial. I was like, you knock it off. I want to play. It's like Tom and Jerry on steroids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's my jam. So I'm stoked. But yeah, that's I can't wait. Oh, Smitty, I would love you and I going back and forth playing Colt and Juliana.
Oh, absolutely.
That would be fun.
Absolutely. It's going down. It is definitely going down.
Thursday nights might change, my friends.
Well, don't forget too. I'm gonna have Outriders going as well, because I'm gonna go hard in the paint on Outriders as well. Yeah, I pre-ordered that, and I'm enjoying it.
7 days a week.
Yeah, right. God. I wish.
I don't have enough time in my day.
I know. That's what I was saying. It's like there's not enough time for all the games and to be able to. It's like, come on now. Speaking of games, my topic is we got to. It happened, and we kind of saw this coming. I feel like, and I don't think this is going to be the last that we see of this. But Gotham Knights has officially been delayed to 2022. It was originally slated to come out this year, and like I was saying, I had we had talked about it with Stephen O. Young. He's voicing Red Hood, and he was talking about, because he plays the game or is a gamer and stuff like that as well. And he's like, yeah, the mechanics on it are awesome. They basically said they want to make an award-winning game with this game. So I think, the big thing about this too is the fact that I think with Cyberpunk, this really showed a lot of companies that they need to take a step back. They need to they're coming out and they're saying, look, we need more time on this. I'm not sure exactly, what it is that they're going back and doing. We thought one thing that was weird about it right now, that the fact that it is co-op, but it's only 2-player co-op, but you got 4 characters. So that to me doesn't make a lot of sense in itself. It's like, why would it not be 4-player co-op? I know that there are people are talking about, how's Batman with, a co-op game with no Batman and this and that. So you have Batgirl, Red Hood, Nightwing, and Robin, essentially, who are the
Batgirl.
characters on
Oh
this.
wait, I'm
Batgirl.
thinking of a different game. Just kidding. I was like, "Where's Gwenpool?" And I was like, "I just had a
Yeah.
stroke. Don't
Wrong
mind
company.
me. Wrong company. My bad."
I am, I am sad that this is happening, but at the same time, I'm glad that they are taking a step back. They've done it, well in advance. Like, look, we're not going to put out any crap. We want this game to be what we envisioned. And, for them to be able to take, especially in this climate and right now, and what's going on in the world, is, I don't know what kind of difficulties they're having on a production side for a video game. I don't know that world, but I can't imagine that it's just, oh, what do you know what I mean? This or that. They've had impacts as well. So I'm assuming that, instead of them trying to rush, put this game out and then it ends up flopping like we've seen so many others. Again, the big latest one has been Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
That hurt the brand, that hurt the publishers, just their, reputation with what they're producing, what they've put out. And again, there's other details that went behind that too, and decisions that were made. Not just, you can't just focus, it's their fault, this or that, but to see them take this step back and make sure that we're going to give ourselves enough time to fully flesh this out and get something out there. We're going to say 2022. I know people are salty about it, but it's like, I'm okay with that. I actually want to see more companies doing and making these steps instead of putting out crap.
Yeah, they've been making a lot of announcements like lately saying that 2021 is the year where we're going to really feel the aftermath of like the pandemics and the delays and things of that nature. And this is just like one example. Just like the workings behind it and how you have to plan. Like everything that was going to come out in 2020 and like did come out in 2020 was already at like the end of their development cycle because
Right.
they have to make their goals like months in advance before the game is released. And so that's how those games were able to get released, or even if they got delayed a little bit, a couple of months before they got their release. For these later ones that are going to be happening this year, they were in like the middle, or in some cases in the beginning of their development during 2020, and so that's why these are going to get these types of delays.
Ooh. I haven't seen a commercial for this at all.
It's dope. It looks super dope.
It looks really neat. And Batgirl doesn't look stupid, which makes me happy. Because in the comic books, like she was a badass, and it was really frustrating because she's been portrayed in a few different areas of media, and a lot of the times they make her seem almost like she's gets herself in a situation where she's like the damsel in distress, and it's like, no, she's not. And that's what always frustrated me. And as a kid, I watched Batman the animated series. That's where I got my original Harley voice from, because I do 4 different versions of Harley, but my favorite is from that, which was in the 90s. I want games to be better, and it's so frustrating because we've seen so many games, we've had such expectations for them, and again, I'm one of those people. It's like, if I don't have expectations for it and then I see it, maybe I won't be as disappointed. But you know what? At the end of the day, I am starting to get disappointed, and I think we're being vocal enough as the consumers to really tell these companies, like, look, we're not going to buy your stuff anymore if this is what you're giving us, right?
Yeah.
However, we've also had that same turnaround where we've had part 2 of whatchamacallit come out, and before it was even out, there were reviews giving it like 1 to 0 stars because, of a controversy, which these people didn't play it. They don't know the circumstances of why it happened and how it happened, and it wasn't the way that they explained it. And so I'm always in this like limbo of, yes, thank you for being honest with us, but be honest with us and then give us a good game, right? Like,
Yeah.
don't,
Mm-hmm.
like Cyberpunk was like, we're being honest with you, we need X, Y, and Z to do more and blah blah blah. Great. And then they release it and it's like, he can't keep his penis in his pants. What is happening? And it's like these little things. It's like, come on, people. Like, thank God I'm an 18 and up channel and I wasn't streaming it, but there were people that were streaming it, and it's like, did you see that? His wee wee just comes out of his pants for no reason. What? Like, that is such a silly glitch that you had in your game. Someone had to have seen it and just been like, "Yeah, that's funny. Let's keep it." Do you know what I mean? It's so frustrating that it's come to this point that like we have to be so vocal about how bad these games are. I mean, Sony giving people money back is absolutely unheard of. Absolutely unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Hmm.
for them to pull the game in general, I was shocked, So I loved Arkham. Which one was the last one? Arkham
Night.
I played it on my buddy's Xbox. I hate Xbox controllers. I can never that my hands just don't fit that. Um
Yeah.
but I loved it. I loved all of the mechanics. I loved all of his like machinery that you got to play with. Oh my god, like just the car and the bike and everything was so much fun. And I enjoyed it. I didn't even get to play much of it. I probably played like 2 or 3 hours of it, and I absolutely enjoyed it. So this was something I was hoping. I had heard rumors of. I hadn't seen anything. Just give us a good game, please. I would love to play this. I would absolutely love to play this. I'm a Marvel person through and through, but when it came to DC Comics, I I did love me some Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the classics, and like you're saying too. This is, and I think they have to. They're being forced because I mean, Cyberpunk should have made a decision not to even mess with the last gen. They should have just stuck with PC and the next gen. Focus on that. I think they spread themselves too thin,
Yeah.
and they put out a product clearly that was not ready to be. I mean, them getting taken off PlayStation stores absolutely unheard of. This is the AAA game of the year, essentially. Getting pulled from PlayStation
Yeah.
store because it's so bad. It's unplayable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, the debacle that they're going through. So again, I think we see more companies doing this, and hopefully they do it, because I think there's a few other games that we have that are in danger. You're supposed to be having Horizon Zero Dawn, Forbidden West come out. At the same time, you're supposed to also have what was it? God of War,
God of War.
Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that comes out till next year. As a matter of fact, I think I feel like of all the games, Horizon Dawn, I feel like can come out, maybe have like a fall release or a Christmas release, but it doesn't even make sense to have, even if you come out later with it, to then step on the toes of it with God of War. I think it makes more sense to push that into 2022, finish up clean, polish that. Again, we haven't really gotten much news since we saw the Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't heard
Yeah.
I don't know where they are development wise with that game. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. I think there's going to be a lot more game. We saw Returnal get pushed back as well, because I'm ready for these actual PS5 games. For the most part, if you have a PS5, you're playing PS4 games on the PS5. So I feel like we haven't really gotten any meaty PS5 games. That's what I'm ready for. I want to see what it could really do.
Right. No,
Mhm.
I absolutely agree. I don't think like you guys have really gotten any PS5 games, and like the one that I know Dust was like so excited for, they didn't even give a release date. I think at this point, like, give people maybe a general direction of like what year. Don't give dates anymore. Don't give dates
Right.
anymore. Stop giving dates. And if you can't even think of like, okay, obviously people are at home having to work on these things, don't even say anything. Just, hey, this is what we're coming out with. Here's the trailer. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Yada yada yada. and just leave it at that. Don't, and every time, you have a new development, you have a new trailer, cool, push that out to the media. Get people wanting it. And I mean, even the mystery of not knowing when it's coming out could, further the hype in and of itself. That in itself is like a great marketing tool. You know what I mean? You are just a busy bee, aren't you? Um, back and forth. Back. Are you narking on me? Snitches get stitches, woman. Um, and I think like Nightmare said, every game feels rushed lately. I absolutely agree. Everything's
Hmm.
being rushed, and it's like, I get it. We're in the pandemic, people are having to work from home. It's really hard, and especially with animation and CGI and all of that, it's kind of hard to, if you've ever seen Disney did like a behind the scenes of how they made Frozen. Very interesting. And
Mhm.
like an animator worked on literally a 20-second sequence, right? Of Elsa running down and up this hill and sliding to a stop and then a whoosh, right? It took her
Hmm.
6 months. Every week she would show her progress and it would further and further and further and further. 6 months for that animation. Okay. Now take that and put that into a video game, right? And you're not able to just sit there and get critiques from 6 different bosses of different departments. You're literally sending it to one person and then they're giving you a note, sending it back. But who's playing these games, who's playing these like pre-betas, right, before you even give it to the public, because I feel like they're not being played through enough to find all of the glitches, and
I
that's
think, a,
the main issue.
yeah, I think a lot of it is that like we're there. They like the people with the money have an idea of when things should be done, and
Mm-hmm.
in software development, that's just not how it works. Like you
No,
give an
ma'am.
estimate, and then you try to do that, but then things pop up, new technology happens,
Right.
like pandemic, like everything can cause like that delay, and so
Mhm.
like you have to rush and like create like new solutions, and that's what causes this crunch time. That's
Yeah.
one of like
Mhm.
going back to Cyberpunk, that was one of their biggest thing is that like the people were complaining that they were getting mad crunches. They were doing 80-hour weeks, and like that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. No.
But like the people with the money are like, hey, you promised us this time, we want our product, we want our money, not caring about like, hey, there's gonna be bugs, that we're doing this for like different systems, so we have to test every system, make sure everything works
Right.
in every system, and like without giving that proper time and like knowing exactly how that works, like you're just setting yourself up for failure in crunch time.
Oh, absolutely. And Sakura the Tall said it great. The problem is investors and stockholders pressuring these devs. Well, and what's funny is like you're pressuring these developers to do that, and then they throw out a game like Cyberpunk, and guess what? All that money that they were hoping to get back in return, and then some. Where did that go? Oh no, your game got pulled. So maybe you shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? And I get it. Like these people are putting money and investing time. It's gonna happen. Obviously, these big developers for like Cyberpunk and Arkham, these aren't just some indie developer that is a no name that hasn't created anything. These are people that have done this job for many, many years and are hiring people who are absolutely capable of getting the job done. I think people need to sit down, slow down, and realize, it's not the end of the world if you have to hold off another 6 months to get the game to be perfect, because making it for PlayStation 4 and then trying to push it to PlayStation 5, it doesn't work like that. You're literally making a new game essentially. And so
Hmm.
they're not making one, they're making 4 to 5 different versions of it essentially to then push out to these places, and then you need people to test that, and the developers can, of course they're going to test what they've created as they're creating it, but that's a micro scale. When you
Hmm.
put those pieces together like a puzzle, how does it work together, right? And I think that's the bigger picture. I have so many games. Y'all can calm down, developers. I mean, zoom me in here.
Right?
Y'all can calm down. I don't have time and I can't clone myself. Dang it. Give me a minute. I have so many things to do. I need laundry. Actually, I finished laundry. But come on. I have to adult sometimes. Unfortunately, I have to leave this chair. But I don't mind if you take your time. Honestly, I would rather you take your time. I have 50 other games I have to worry about right now.
Yeah.
Plus content creation. Take your time. Take your time. Does someone need a game? I'll give you my password and then just change it later. You can download a few games and play them. Go for it.
See, I think the biggest thing to what you guys are saying is the fact that, I think if they had the liberty of doing that from the investors or the stockholders or whatever, they would have rather done that. Again, this seems like they were basically like not left with much of a choice. Look, you're rolling this game out, whether it is or not. Excuse me. And clearly the money people now that we see the backlash from it, is that like, oh, wait, maybe we should give more time, not rush it just because of this deadline that we had set, or they've got to look to, make adjustments and whatnot. The really unfortunate thing about this is that the developers and those studios and publishers are the ones that take that hit to their reputation. Absolutely. They don't know Sally Joe, in the boardroom who is sitting there saying, no, this is how it's going to be. I don't care about, I don't even, have an understanding of the gaming community. I invested this amount of money. I'd like my return investment now, please. That's got to be a very tough position, and it sucks to see some of these companies get drugged because we don't understand, just from a consumer level, we're not there in those conversations and seeing that. Yeah, but people are hella quick to be like, oh, F them or that. Although I do feel that way about Bethesda. I do, because I feel like they treat their community terribly.
They do.
Just with what they've done and how dirty I feel. But that's just a pride again. But I'm all about that Deathloop, baby.
Who are you, Bethesda? But give me Deathloop.
But I love you, kind of. We'll see.
I think pharmacy. I think cyberbank. Good. That's all, folks. My brain just died. No, I think cyberpunk. Oh my god, cyberpunk can make a comeback. I absolutely do. I don't think it's I think it is a No Man's Sky type of scenario where it's gonna be I don't think that they want their name dragged through the mud. I think they will come back from it. And it sucks. I think also as an investor, I think you should know what kind of market you're going into in the first place and understand what it's like. And also, we're in a time where vaccinations are going out and great, maybe COVID's going to be close to coming to an end. I know I'm not even close to being on the list to get vaccinated yet, unfortunately.
It's crazy.
So my butt still has to wear 2 masks out I offered to be, a guinea pig, and my best friend told me she'd murder me, so I can't. Unfortunately I have pre-existing and I had COVID, and there's no studies done on what that could do to me. So, it's like we all see the light at the end of the tunnel and everyone's racing to get to it. And it's like, if we all just slowed down and these companies who are investing money would just stop, realize how this market works, realize how the gaming community works and what it entails, and actually be a part of it. Because it's, even then, like when you invest your money, I wouldn't say get emotionally invested, because that's like number one in business. Don't do that. But at least understand your market, do your research, have somebody who's, maybe in the gaming industry themselves help to teach you and understand that. Because obviously you have money to invest. You can have a board meeting with Ninja and he can come in and tell you, from his perspective what it's like, etc. And I think slowing down is not a bad thing. We're not going to disappear tomorrow. Thanos isn't going to snap us out of existence. Chill out. We've got a lot to play right now. I mean, if you have Game Pass, everything from Bethesda's being released. You can go through the whole Halo series again. You can go through, all these games. and just, have fun. Like, get some family time. Maybe step away from the games for a minute. I know that's not what our discussions are about, but play a tabletop game. Maybe Tdot will let you borrow one of his.
Yeah, I got tons.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, you lose respect for these companies who are rushing these games out, and it's only further pushing indie developers up into the spotlight, because now we're looking to them going, wait a minute, so you just made an 8-bit horror game, gave it out for $1, and it is primo? Heck yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, I've talked about Faith, I don't know how many times, and now they're on Steam finally. They finally got picked up, but they're working for themselves. They don't want to work for another company because they don't want to be pushed to do these things that isn't in their wheelhouse. You know what I mean? They started a
Mhm.
series, they want to finish it. And I can't wait for the Holy Trinity to come out, And I'm patiently waiting. I check Steam every freaking week because they never gave a date. They never gave a date. And you know what? That's what I appreciates about them. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's quality over quantity. Like you
Absolutely.
like wait until it's done, and so you can maximize that profit. Otherwise, you're just shooting yourself in the foot.
And no one's getting the money back on that one,
No.
Not at
Yep.
all.
I agree.
Well, boys, let's see. T Dot, what are you up to this week, my friend? Are you
Uh,
streaming? What you doing?
you know what? Maybe I am.
Oh.
Maybe I'll stream tomorrow. Maybe I'll stream some Final Fantasy 14 and us going
Ooh.
through some old raids getting
Oh,
destroyed by Bahamut.
nice. What about you, Smitty? What are you up to? I know Smitty is one of the hardest working men that I know. I just want to say that right now. Dust is coming close second. He hasn't walked away from that computer in like 7 days. I'm like, hello, can I have some time? But what are you up to, Smitty?
Mhm. Yeah, no, I think I'll continue my playthrough of Metal Gear. I know that I need to go back and work on the Halo series as well. And then I'm actually hoping to, my week is, I've got some shoots and stuff like that, but hopefully it's a little more calm, a little more chill. I don't have any big projects starting till the end of April, so, or at least right now anyway. So yeah, I'm just looking to get back into a little bit of normalcy and try to see, always on that Destiny 2 grind. I've been grinding that out. Holla at your boy if you guys play Destiny 2. Come on in, Mike. Come
Yeah.
on in.
Oh, he
Gee,
plays it
what about
all the
yourself,
time.
Lex? I do. I do.
I'm hoping that I beat Made of Skur. I thought I was gonna beat it last week and then I didn't. I'm hoping to beat Made of Skur this week, hoping to get over this cold. If this fever would just go away, I would be a happy little camper. Because girl, I need to go grocery shopping. Yeah, catch up on just, house things, mopping, sweeping, spoopy games Monday through Wednesday. Of course, Thursday we have our community night where we play Among Us, but not the regular Among Us because, I have a superpower. Did you know that, T Dot? I have a superpower.
What's your superpower?
I piss grown men off when I beat them at Among Us. And then they turn to Twitter and they're not nice. So we play hide and go seek. So if you would like to
Crazy.
join us, you're more than welcome to. But
That does sound like
guys,
fun.
it is fun.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us for the CFG Gamecast. We really appreciate you. We can't thank you enough for being here for the live broadcast and watching or listening rather on Mondays when it comes out to all of the podcast services. So I would like to thank Smitty, Tdot, for joining us and filling in. Appreciate you, buddy. And again, please leave us a like, a comment, what have you. And we'll get back to that rigmarole next week when we see you on Saturday. Y'all have a great evening.
Peace.